Welcome dear students. Today we will discuss different types of the refrigerants and their effects on the environment. Now the life of the blood of any refrigeration system is the refrigerant circulating inside the system. It carries the heat from a refrigerated space or a body to the outside surrounding. Therefore, refrigerant may be defined as any substance that absorbs heat either by expansion or vaporization and rejects it through condensation in the condenser. In mechanical refrigeration system, refrigerant is subjected to the cyclic thermodynamic process, which means simply there is a cycle is there. Okay, in the cyclic refrigeration it will be circulate. So first it comes to the compressor, then goes to the condenser, then throttle valve, and then the evaporator. Okay, so this is in the cyclic nature. So your refrigerant must flow in a cyclic nature. Therefore, to convert, it means to convert the liquid into the vapor into the liquid. So this is your thermodynamic process. Therefore the refrigerant is a heat transfer medium which exists alternatively in a liquid and vapor phase, and two phase transformation must be there. So if you see in the slide, so refrigerant is the fluid used for heat transfer in a refrigerated system that absorbs heat during evaporation from the region of low temperature and pressure, and releases heat during the condensation at a region of a high temperature and pressure. Now you already know that. Let's suppose this is the system of refrigeration. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, fine, no problem. So this is the low temperature. I will give it as a TL. This is the high temperature TH, and this is the refrigeration system which will be working in a cyclic nature. Okay, so the main function of the refrigeration system is to lower the temperature. So to lower the temperature and transfer it to the at the source. Okay, so here the low temperature is there. Okay, so to transfer the heat from low temperature so sink towards the high temperature, we require the refrigeration system. So we require this RE, that is refrigeration system, and through which there is a refrigerant, and the refrigerant is used to transfer the heat from low temperature and to transfer it to the high temperature. We generally call it as a refrigerant. So there are two types of the refrigerant. First one is the primary refrigerant, and second one is the secondary refrigerant. So primary refrigerants are working medium in a refrigeration system which are directly used as a carrier of heat. It absorbs heat during evaporation in the evaporator and releases heat during the condensation in the condenser. So primary refrigerants are directly the phase change takes place. In the primary refrigerant, phase change takes place. So the primary refrigerant are those fluids which are directly used as a working fluid. We consider it as a halocarbon compounds are there, hydrocarbons are there. So this is the primary refrigerant. The secondary refrigerant, they are does not the phase change takes place. So there is no phase change takes place in case of secondary refrigerant. Secondary refrigerant are those liquids which are used for transporting the thermal energy from one location to other. So the example of the secondary refrigerant are the brine and antifreezes or waters. So in case of the large refrigeration plant, a secondary coolant is used as a cooling medium, and which absorbs the heat from refrigerated space and transfer to the primary refrigerant in the evaporator. For example of the secondary refrigerant that already I given here, the antifreezes, brine and water, which have been we will discuss is later on. Now the different classification of fluid used as a refrigerant. So refrigerants are the pure fluids and mixtures. So in case there are again two types, that is synthetic and natural. So in case of synthetic, CFCs are there, HCFCs are there, HFCs are there. In case of natural, organic HCs, hydrocarbons are there, and inorganic NH3, CO2 and water. Okay, so these are the different types of the natural, the pure fluids used for the refrigerant, and azeotrophs and zeotrophs are the mixtures of the different types of the refrigeration system. So now we will discuss the classification of the primary refrigerant. So first classification is the halocarbon compounds, and the halocarbon compounds which contains one or more of the three halogens, one or more of three ha- halogens, chlorine, fluorine, bromine. These are sold commercially under the trade name of Freon, Genetron, Isotron, Aerotron, that is R11, R12, R13, R22 and R114. So these refrigerants have wide range of boiling point at 1 atmospheric pressure, hence satisfy the requirement of the domestic, commercial and industrial application. These halocarbons. Also, the presence of the fluorine in the compound makes it non-toxic and it renders a desirable physical property. So R11 is there. So R11 is nothing but the trichloromonofluoromethane, that is CCl3F. CCl3F. Similarly, R12 is there. So R12 is nothing but the dichlorofluoromethane. CCl2, CCl2F2 is there. Means in this case you can observe here, so chlorine atom is there, fluorine atom is there, okay, methane, okay, so one or more type of the three halogens are there. So next classification is the azeotrophs. In case of the azeotrophs, this group of the refrigerants consist of the mixture of different refrigerants which cannot be separated under pressure and temperature, and they have fixed thermodynamic properties. So the, for example, R500 is the mixture of 73.8% of the R12 and 26.2% of the R15. So these are the azeotrophs. So main okay, I just clear the screen. Okay, the main important of these azeotrophs is they are not separated under any pressure and temperature. So they have the same thermodynamic pressure at any pressure and temperature. Next type of the primary refrigerants are the zeotropic mixtures. And in the zeotropic mixtures, that is R404A, that is a mixture of 125, that R143A and R1344%. So these are the zeotropic mixture. Next is the hydrocarbon. So several organic compounds of these groups are used as a refrigerants, have desired thermodynamic properties, but they are actually highly inflammable. So for example is the R50, that is methane, that's CH4. Okay, R170 ethane. Okay, C2H6. Okay, so this comes in the one category. Okay, then R290, that is propane, C3 and H8. Okay, so this is the different types of the hydrocarbons that's also having the desired thermodynamic property. But problem is that these are very highly inflammable. Okay, and last one is the inorganic compounds. So before the development of the hydrocarbon group of refrigerant, these were used in the past, that is the R717, that is the ammonia, R718, that is the water, and R729, that is the air. So these are the inorganic compounds. Okay, so very first these inorganic compounds are there. So in the first decade of 20th century, domestic machines were introduced in the market with sulfur dioxide as a refrigerant. Okay, then ammonia, then the other type of refrigerants are developed. So they form, but the problem of the sulfur dioxide was introduced as a refrigerant, and its tendency to form acid manufacturer of suitable components are difficult. So that's why then there is a development of the hydrocarbons are there. Okay. So at present, the environment friendliness of the refrigerant is the major factor, because the day by day there is a problem of the pollution comes. So that's why we have to focus on the friendliness of the refrigerant. So there is a one more important thing is that, so you should select the refrigerant so it should have a less harmful to the environment. So at the present, the environment friendliness of the refrigerant is a major factor in deciding the usefulness of a particular refrigerant. So we'll see the important environmental and safety properties are. So first one is the ODP, that is the ozone depletion potential. So this ODP plays a very important role. So now you know that according to the Montreal Protocol. So what is the Montreal Protocol? So the Montreal Protocol, that in 1974 it was noticed that though because of the CFCs, that is the because of the CFCs like R11, R12 used extensively in the refrigeration industry have the ODP, that it will deplete the ozone layer. So CFCs are stable compounds in normal atmosphere as explained. When these rise to ozone layer, they decompose due to sunlight, and chlorine atom reacts with the ozone and causes its depletion. So this Montreal Protocol has set in 1987. An agreement was signed by the representatives of the many countries in Montreal, that in Canada. So this Montreal Protocol has a timetable for phasing out the CFC. So there is a mandatory for to phase out the CFCs because of the ODP. The silent features of these Montreal Protocol are in July 99. So the to freeze consumption level to average of 1995 to 1997. January 2005, phase out 50% of its consumption. January 2007, so phase out 85% of the consumption. January 2010, that is 2010, phasing out 100% consumption. So developed countries have already phased out the CFCs as per their timetable. So this ozone potential is a very harmful. Okay, now we already aware about that there is a ozone layer O3 in the stratosphere about 50 km from the earth's surface, called ozonosphere, all around the surface. This ozone layer protects us against its harmful effects like skin cancer due to ultraviolet rays emanating from the sun, since the ozone layer absorbs all the UV rays radiations and allows only beneficial heat rays and light to reach the Earth's surface. Some of the gases, including CFCs, is giving out by different processes on the Earth and reach up to this layer and reacts with the ozone gas to form the different compounds. This causes the depletion of ozone at a particular places, which is called as a ozone hole. And the scientists postulated that CFCs are also responsible for the ozone depletion in presence of the sunlight. For example, if you consider the reaction of R12, that is CCl2F2, CCl2F2 under the sunlight. So here I will write only sun. So CCl2F, CClF2 plus Cl, and when this O3, that is the ozone layer O3 gas, is come in a contact with Cl, then ClO plus O2 plus O2. So we find from this equation that O2 gas is get deflected to, sorry, O3 gas get deflected to the O2 gas. Since the refrigerants have non-zero ODP, so have either already phased out or in the process will be phased out. But now in today's all the refrigerants having non-zero ODP are already phased out. Okay, since ODP depends mainly on the presence of chlorine and bromine in the molecules, the refrigerants having either chlorine, that is CFCs, and HCFCs or bromine cannot be used under the new regulation as discussed in the Montreal Protocol, meetings. Okay, then the GWP, that is the global warming potential. The refrigerant should have as low as GWP value to minimize the problem of global warming. The refrigerant with zero ODP but have high GWP, that is R134A, are likely to be regulated in the futures, because if any refrigerant having the zero ODP but it having the high value of global warming potential, then there is again a problem of the problem on the earth, and these type of the refrigerants also are likely to be phased out in the near future. So this tends to increase the temperature on the earth's surface because of the global warming. So our temperature day by day gets increases, and the global warming can have the threatening effects for the long run. So it should notice that increased CO2 in atmosphere caused by the industrial process, thermal power plants, and the and the different and discriminate the falling of a tree, that is CO2 is not get absorbed, is the main source of the global warming. And however, some of the refrigerants are also responsible for the global warming due to development of the refrigeration and air conditioning industry for increased productivity and quality of the life in last 5 decades. Then TEWI, that is the total equivalent warming index. The factor TEWI considers both direct, that is the due to release into atmosphere, and indirect, that is through the energy consumptions, contributes of refrigerants to the global warming. Naturally, the refrigerants with as low as TW are preferable from the global warming point of view. Flammability. These refrigerants should preferably be non-flammable and non-explosive. For flammable, special precautions should be taken to avoid the accidents. As ASHRAE, based on the above criteria, ASHRAE, that is the American Society for Heating, Refrigeration and Air Conditioning, has have divided the refrigerants into six safety groups, that is A1 to A3 and B1 to B3. Refrigerants belonging to A1, that is the R11, R12, R22, R134A, R744, R718 are least hazardous, while the refrigerant belonging to the group B3, so A2 having the least and B3 having the most hazardous. So B3 comes under, that is R1140, are most hazardous. Okay. So in this way, we discuss the different types of the refrigerants and their effect on the environment. So in the next lecture, we will discuss the different properties of the